don't save firewood, and mainly just because there's such a supply here. We've had the ash beetle come through, and if there's an ash tree standing, if it's not dead now, it'll be dead soon. There's so much wood on the ground that there's so much available. You just kind of use what you need, and the rest just lays there. But that being said, given the project we're working on and the fact that we're going to be doing it for some time, I figured I might as well stack some up back here at the end of the road. And that way, if we got some get-togethers along the way, well, we got all the wood we need for it, don't we? We'll get a few more logs cut up another day for firewood, but for now we got that one cleaned up, get the stump pushed out of the way. I got a few more trees I want to take down real quick, and this first one, she gets a little squirrely on me. So this daggone tree ends up doing the exact same thing the first one does. The top gets hung up in a vine up there. You can kind of see the vine dangling on the bottom there. You got to be really careful once these treetops get in the vines. You got to make sure you're not pulling over something else with it. Because remember, that vine's attached to those other trees. So, you know, I don't recommend this, but it's the situation we're in. We'll just deal with it the best we can. See if we can get it down without breaking any mirrors. That's always the question. So I'm finally able to start on this part of the road since we've got the rest of those trees down, and I'm pretty excited because this is the last leg of the road for the YouTube Yacht that needs to be dozed. This first 12 to 15 feet is by far the most frustrating. You can see it's pretty slimy. And here in a second we're going to spin around, start heading the other way, see if we can actually get this thing finished up. Well, finished up for the ground conditions anyway. So it's a mess. You don't have to tell me it's a mess. I already know it's a mess. I'm working in it. But this is the last little bit, the last little leg of the road that I'm going to do with the dozer. It gets all the dozer work out of it, and I've had an absolute blast just running this thing for the past few days or past week, however long it's been. Just kind of trying to get a feel for the controls, and it's always fun whenever you learn something new. Even if I didn't learn a lot, at least I got a little bit of seat time on the daggone thing. And when this is all said and done, once the dozer's out of here and it dries up a little bit, and it is raining like crazy again today, so it's going to be a while. But once it dries up, we can get the excavator down there, get all the ditches swabbed out, get all the culverts put in, and get this thing looking ship-shape and Bristol fashion. Learned that the other day. We'll start saying that maybe. And get this clay worked around the corner. I've got some good drone shots, aerial shot of this area coming up that I can kind of explain things a little bit better, and I have some awesome drone shots of a wood chip offloading facility along the river where they barge in wood chips for a paper mill. So I got that stuff coming up, so stay tuned for that. You're not going to want to miss it. Alrighty guys, so here's a little bit of an aerial view with the Mavic Mini drone to try to paint the picture a little bit better. We are looking back the way that we came from. So the previous video, we finished right there. If you can see that kind of dirt line, that's where we finished. So everything that looks a little bit more fresh is coming into what we worked on today. There's the pile of stuff we kind of piled up this morning. And then we're going to work our way around this corner. And that's kind of where we took all that clay out of that corner so we could push it down this hill and get a halfway decent road base out of that clay. When that clay dries, it sets hard, and I mean hard like concrete. And then we'll throw some base rock on top of it. It'll make a really nice road, but we've got to get that drainage in there. We got to get the culverts in. We got to get the water away from where we're at. So once we get going down this road is where the end of the line, into that clay, is where the YouTube Yacht will sit, in that general area. If you're new to the channel, welcome. We are all super glad you're here, aren't we? Everybody, welcome new subscribers. Alright, so the microphone went out halfway through that, so let's see if we can get caught back up where we were. I think I was talking about the YouTube Yacht and what it was. It is going to be a towboat/tugboat themed cabin on the boundary of our property in the Hoosier National Forest. Obviously sitting on our property, but close to the boundary of the Hoosier National Forest. Why? Well, it's a little different, and we kind of like doing things that are fun and different. Also, we are a river community. There's a lot of history and heritage in that. We're kind of proud of it. And there are a lot of rental cabins in this area. So if we can build a rental cabin that kind of ties into the river history, that just seems like a fun thing to do. So to show you a little bit better how close we are to the Hoosier National Forest, there's a tree coming up in the shot right there. See that orangish colored tree? It's a dead tree. I believe it's a dead ash tree to be exact. But that tree is on federal property. So that's how close we are. And in the wintertime, in the crotch of these two ridge lines, in the wintertime, the sun just sets right there and silhouettes all these trees, and it's absolutely gorgeous. So eventually, this road will keep going to the right. You can see it's pretty much a swamp down there. If you think it was wet where we've been so far, that is much, much wetter down there. I'm not really sure why. I think there's a rock shelf there, and it just doesn't let the water out. It just kind of holds water a little bit better. But since we've got the road this far, we can finish the loop anytime. I don't feel like pushing any more mud than I have to, so we'll just leave that be and let it dry out. But we'll take the drone, we'll get lined up, hammer down through these trees, and line you out on this road just a little bit better. So you can see that tree laying there. Here we go, hammer down through the trees. That's a good idea with the drone. You can see this tree laying here. That's essentially where the road is going to go, is right there. Along the line of the tree trunk. The top of the tree is tied up in that young poplar right there. The road's going to go around to the left of that young poplar, up through that brush pile we just stacked this morning, and tie back in. So that'll be the loop eventually when we get to it and everything dries out. I'm going to go up a little higher and swing you around again so you can kind of have a different angle on it, but while you're looking at that, a quick housekeeping thing. I had a suggestion in the comments the other day, and believe it or not, I do try to read and respond to all your comments. If I haven't responded to your comment, I am not ignoring you. YouTube's just not always the best at giving me notifications when I get comments. I'm not really sure what's up with that. It's kind of frustrating because that's, I like communicating and joking around with you guys. Anywho, they wanted to see if there's a better way to get the videos organized so that new subscribers could keep up with the time frame of where we're currently at. So at the end of these videos, if you notice, I always have 2 suggested videos. I'm going to start making one of the suggested videos the previous video, and the other suggested video the most recent video. And I'm hoping that'll kind of help keep them lined out on the time frame of where we've been and where we're currently at. But you guys are the absolute main driving force of this channel, so I kind of need your feedback on that. Let me know what you think. We'll try it for a few videos. As far as the rest of this project goes, we are taking the dozer back to the barn so we can get all the tracks cleaned up and ready for Mike. However, the 2 culvert crossings are absolute swamps right now because we've just had rain after rain after rain, and I haven't had a chance to get the excavator in to get them shaped the right way to drain. So instead of getting the dozer hung up, we're just going to do a little trip through the woods. It's kind of chaotic and hectic and tight in spots, but that's always entertaining. And then the drone footage of the wood chip barge being unloaded.
Alright, so shoveled a lot of off down the... Oh, hello! How are you, pup? How are you? Get you some pets in there. Got shoveled off down by the roadway. Well, Charlotte wasn't much help, but she's good moral support. That counts. And then brought it up to the house and ended up just kind of pressure washing it off. No, it's not perfect, but it's going back in the mud again at some point. But I did get around all the rollers you can see there in the front idler. And then that mud, when you're pushing that mud, it likes to get crammed up in these little spaces here between the hoses. Got that kind of in there. And then a little bit of the operator station keep clean too, because I at least for a little bit, at least for a couple weeks, I am done with the dozer part of this until it dries out, or until I get the track hoe part done, which will be cleaning out all the ditches, getting the culverts put in, all the kind of logs I set out of the way with the dozer I couldn't really get to. Take the track hoe, get those picked up, put in a pile and burned up. So we got the bulk of the dirt moved with the dozer. Timeout. Is there some mud right here? I'm just realizing there's probably some mud right there. I don't care, it's fine. I'm done with today anyway. Anywho, we got a little bit of track hoe work to do. That's what's gonna be next on this project. But if Mike needs this, it's sitting here ready to go. So that's super duper handy. I mean, it's easy. Especially when you do a lot of slip seating, like what Mike and I do. You're always in different pieces of equipment. It's really easy to get out of that piece of equipment and just leave the mess for the next guy. So don't be that person, you know. Sometimes you're a victim of circumstance. You just don't have the time, literally. But if you do have the time, just clean up for the next guy so it's ready. All right, PSA for today. Let's go down the river, get some drone shots. Let's do that.
All right, so we're flying out of Rocky Point Marina, just outside Cannelton, Indiana. If you look downriver, just there, you can kind of make out the Cannelton Locks dam operation that we showed you in one of these other videos. And right here, what we're headed towards is a river operation where they offload wood chips for the paper mill you see in the background. Got all kinds of good information on the equipment they use to offload, those cranes, a little bit of information about that towboat, and some information about how long that conveyor belt actually is. So stay tuned, all kinds of stuff. It's going to be popping up in the text form, so you can just enjoy the music and read as you want. Alright, so I'm just going to jump in here at the end real quick and explain just a couple more things that are easier to say than type. So the whole purpose of having the towboat there, the actual deck where the material handlers are sitting, that's attached to moors and spuds. You can kind of see that it's not really going anywhere unless the river gets too crazy with flood stages. But the actual chip barges have to be moved around. They store their empty barges downriver. We're going to pan around here, and I think I even throw up a little graphic arrow to help point out where the empty barges are at. And then when mainline tows come up and down the river with 15 barge tows, you know, out of those 15 barges, there may be 2 or 3 of those that are chip barges that are going here. So she'll go out, pick those full barges off the mainline tow, put the empty ones on there, and then they can continue on down the way. And she just stays right here at this staging area. Alright, so Domtar put this conveyor belt in 2013 at a price of $10 million, and it is 1 mile long. From the barge offloading facility to the paper mill facility is 1 mile long. It moves 750,000 tons of wood chips each year. They are pretty daggone proud of it. They actually have their own little YouTube video on it. I'll be sure to put that link in the description. I hope you guys like this little clip of the offloading facility. As always, thanks for watching. We'll catch you on the next one.